Hey everyone, it's Hutch here, and today we're going to be working on Mimic Prelude. It's going to be coming out very soon, and I'm super excited about it. So I'm going to use what I'm doing here to help teach you all about something called composition, which is a tool that is used all the time when comic artists are making comics. It helps us put as much detail on the page and tell more captivating stories. So come on, and let's see how to do this. All right. So we're going to be working with a few different things in composition. I drew these particular images here, and after drawing them, I went back and I said, maybe the composition could just be a slightly different, just slightly different, right? Because I was looking at it and I realized certain things didn't really fully make sense. And even with perspective, perspective wise, things weren't exactly what I was looking for. So in this panel here, I could just go to this panel. So you have these drawings already. With composition, you want to, there's different kinds, right? So for this panel, I would like to do a composition, being that there's two figures in here, more or less focusing on, you know, the center. I want most of the information to be in the center, right? So to do that, I highlighted that center area, and I would like for her head, this character's head, well, let me go to a pencil here. I'd like for her head to be more so in this center area here. Let me just make this blue. There we go. More her head is more in the center here. And I want, her form to more or less come down this way, right? So you're gonna see some of her shoulder, some of her arm, because she's holding her weapon, and like that, and like this. That's fine. Um, her weapon is in hand. Make it a little bit bigger, more impressive, and then bring this over here like that. Maybe have a leg in the mix. Maybe the leg would come more so from the bottom, right? So the purpose of this composition is because this point right here is going to be a focal point for the image. All right, it's going to be a focal point. And what you would like to do, or what I would like to do, if I could draw some more grid lines, since this is a longer image, anyways, I want to bring down the focal point to like an opposite place. So for the guy, instead of his head being up here, bring it more so down there, and more or less shift his body over. So I know that I have, his he's vaulting over this object right here, and some of his body is hidden and some of it is not because he's vaulting right now. But the composition allows you to focus in more on that part right there. So it's not perfect. I'm gonna clean it up, as time goes on. But it's just a rough sketch to lay these images down. Now I noticed that with the log here, I had this log, and it's cool. It's not a bad looking log. My issue with the log was actually the perspective of it. So if we're looking in this way, we're looking like straight at the image, maybe even from like a slightly higher level position. Okay, the perspective is not gonna be this way. It's gonna be that way. We're looking like as if these lines with a perspective. This is like almost how we're doing it, right? So if you translated that, really this log would be more so facing down and going further away than it was. It was tilted more so up, and that made it look strange. It's gonna be facing down further away. If anything, I could have this be more the front and then go make it more narrow as it goes to show that it's stretching away. stuff like that, right? So now we have a bit of a better composition. I'm gonna go over it with a darker pen just to lay down these hard shapes. And let's see like what it comes out to look like. I'm gonna go really thick here because this is still very rough, right? But this is more so for you guys to see exactly what I put on the page. So I'm gonna get rid of that line. That's not necessary. Get rid of that back image, right? So we have her. We have her body. It's a very general form. And as you go, you should always be adjusting as you go. Nothing is set in stone when it comes to this sort of thing. If you're not fixing as you go, it's really a bad decision because the first thing you put on the page is almost never exactly what it's going to come out to look like. And if you just stick with that, you're boxing yourself in, you're cornering yourself. And that's the last thing you want to do as an artist is really corner yourself, But this is just a rough thing. I always go a little bit more too detailed than I should. We got our ponytail in here. Boom, boom, here, boom. Got the gun, cool. Right. Now we have the guy in the background. I'm gonna make this just a tiny bit smaller since he's in the back. Right. And maybe focus that. So he's looking this way. He's looking this way. Like this way. Got his shoulder downward just a bit. Not a whole lot, but a bit. His arm is coming forward a bit because he's vaulting over this object. You have his other arm, which is overlapping his body to help him maneuver over this object. And you got his leg. One of his legs is coming over this way. This is going to be his left leg, and then his right leg is more so in the air, a little bit higher. And even show maybe his back leg coming down like that. Front leg could be moving over it. There's some movement there. And when everything is done in a very detailed way, the lines are not as thick, you're going to be able to see the movement even more. Got the tree. So he's coming this way. This is where he's going. She's going. And now we have a better composition. We could put stuff in the background, trees and stuff like that, but we have a better idea of what's going on the page because this guy is jumping over this thing and she is running right there with him. I might even lift her leg a little higher. Yeah, I might lift her leg just a bit higher to really sell it that she's moving from something. Right. I like this. I think this is good. It's gonna grow. So the next portion of this page that I think needed to be changed as far as composition was this panel here. I zoomed in on his eye, but I didn't really need to. I really should have tried to capture his expression. So using that same format that I did last time, I'm gonna try and create this grid, and I want his face to really be the focal point of this grid, right? His face is the focal point, which means that his actual eyes and everything are going to be in this center area. And I could do that, or I could make another grid, have his face here, have his eyes in this frame here, like the center, and then have her face here, right? But just a little bit smaller, like she's behind him just slightly. And her eyes are also. And they're standing more or less with each other, and they're waiting for this thing to happen. Something just exploded, so they're kind of waiting it out. He's holding his arm out, like, wait, don't don't just run in. Let's see if it worked. Let's see if the grenade we threw worked, right? And she's gun in hand because she's ready for anything. She has her gun in her hand, maybe like that. You could just draw the gun coming across, draw her hand that way, and then her right arm this way, and her shoulders are going to drop a little bit lower than his, and then like that. Very simple form. Very simple. So that was my very short tutorial on composition. I hope that you guys learned something. And if you did and you like it, or you have something that you would like me to add to my next video, please feel free to type it in the comments and I will try my best to add those things. Um, Other than that, yeah, thanks for coming by. Peace.